So we'll do some breathing just to settle the body down. So find yourself into a nice comfortable seat, just rooting down through the sit bones, relaxing the shoulders, just roll them over a few times and draw the attention to the breath. And breathing in for 5 and out for 7. Just sigh that breath out. Breathing in for 5 and breathing out for 7. Close the eyes. Breathing in for 5 and out for 7. Breathing in for 5 and out for 7. Breathing in for 5 and out for 7. Breathing in for 5 and breathing out for 7. Breathing in for 5 and breathing out for 7. Breathing in for 5. Breathing out for 7. Just notice how the body is feeling. Settling down. Just doing a gentle body scan from your feet up through the ankles, the legs, the knees, thighs, the hips, up through the back, hands, shoulders, arms, throat, neck, into the face, all the way up to the crown. And just drawing the awareness back down through the body and allow the tension to release from the body back down into the earth below. So as you breathe, drawing energy, drawing white light up through the body, up to the crown, and exhaling back down below. Breathing in that white light of energy, that healing energy up through the body, all the way to the crown. And exhale, releasing any tension, any aches and pains, toothache, back down into the earth below. And again, inhale, drawing that energy up through the body, all the way up to the crown. Exhale, back down to the earth below. And just wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, open the eyes and inhale the arms up overhead, giving yourself a lovely long stretch. And sigh the breath back out. And again, inhale, floating the arms up overhead. And sigh the breath, floating the arms back down. Let's come up onto our feet. A nice little warm up here. So just shaking into the wrists. Give our whole body a nice little shake out. Shaky, 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 shaky. Shaky, 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 shaky. Do the hokey cokey. Okay, so circling into the wrists. And then inhale, arms up open wide. Fill in the lungs and exhale back down. And again, inhale. Feel that energy filling the body and exhale back down. Just open up the legs a little bit wider. Inhale that left arm up and exhale side stretch over. Inhale halfway. Exhale side stretch. Swapping over. Inhale, exhale side stretch. Inhale. Exhale side stretch over. Bringing the arm up and start to rotate into the shoulder without slapping the wall behind you, as I just did. use the momentum of the body to take the arm round. And then slowing down, opposite direction. Okay, opposite arm. Let's take it back. Open up into the chest. And then slowing down, opposite direction. Okay, let's take both arms up for our windmill arms. Drop the left in front and the right behind. And then we're going to take both arms up again, opposite direction. Okay, just shake it out, roll through the shoulders. So spinal twist, come off the back heel, twisting round towards the back of the mat. And then slowing down. Okay, so let's bring the feet closer together, rooting down through that left foot and shaking out the right ankle. And then start to rotate into the ankle. Opposite direction. And then one way, other, one way, other, one way, other. Flexing into the knee. And then swinging the whole of the leg forward and back. Then we're going to lift the knee up, take it out to the side and behind. Up, side, behind. Up, side, behind. Up, side, behind. Up, side, behind. Taking hold of the foot, draw the knees together. Open up into the chest, breathing in for 5. And out for 5. And shake it out. So root down through that right foot, shaking out that left ankle. And then start to rotate into the ankle. Opposite direction. And then one way, other, one way, other, one way, other. Flexing into the knee. And then swinging the whole of the leg forward and back. Then we're going to lift the knee up, take it out to the side and behind. Up, side, behind. Up, side, behind. Up, side, behind. Up, side, behind. Take a hold of the foot, draw the knees together. Open up into the chest, breathing in for 5. And out for 5. And shake it out. Okay. So, what have I got for you this morning? We're going to come down onto our back, first of all. If you've got your strap with you, I'm going to do a few little leg raises. Okay. So, let's come down into a semi-supine position and take your strap around the ball of your foot. And just take a hold of your straps, one in each hand, shoulders down on the mat, and just pushing that heel up towards the ceiling. When you get a nice stretch into the back of the leg. So draw the attention to the Ujjayi breath. And then start to lower the leg towards the floor. Okay. So just hovering above your mat, and then draw the leg back up, bending into the elbows, and lowering the heel back down. So keep the foot flexed here. Draw the leg back up, back down, exhale back down, rising back up. So let's use a count in the breath. So let's exhale down for 7. Inhale up for 5. Exhale down for 7. And inhale up for 5. Exhale down for 7. Inhale up for 5. Once more. Exhale down for 7. And inhale up. Okay, so let's release the strap now and draw the knee into the chest. And lengthen out the left leg. So left leg nice and flat now. And taking your right hand onto your right knee, just to gently allow that right knee to open up to the side. Okay? Keep flat on your back. And then draw the knee back to center again. Allow that knee to open up to the side. Nice gentle hip opener here. And draw the knee back to center. Okay. So, placing your hands down, raise that right heel up to the ceiling, lower it down so it's hovering just above the floor, and then draw it back into the chest again. Push that heel up towards the ceiling, lower down, just hovering above the back, and draw it back in. Raising up, so pushing the heel up, exhale as the leg comes down, inhale into the chest. Once more, pushing the heel up towards the ceiling, exhale as you draw the foot down and draw it in. Okay. Now extend the leg again and take the strap back around the ball of the foot and take the strap into your right hand. Okay. Bend that left knee. Now keep the back flat on the floor. Start to allow that foot to fall out to the side. Don't roll over onto the right hip. As soon as you feel that you're rolling onto that right hip, stop with the leg there. Okay? And then draw it back to center. Allow that leg to fall open again. Keep the back flat. You're opening up into the hip here, and if you're rolling onto that right hip, you're not really opening up into the hip. And draw the leg back in. And again, slowly dropping that leg out to the side. Keep the back flat, the hips on the mat, and draw it back in. Release the strap, hug both knees in, and you're going to swap to the opposite side now. So I'm just going to turn around for the camera. Okay. So right knee bent this time, extend that left leg up. Okay, strap in each hand. So you're just gently lengthening through the hamstrings just now and the calves. Strap in each hand. Pushing the heel up towards the ceiling. Hips are flat on the floor. So just breathe into the hips just now, into the legs. And then slowly start to lower the heel towards the mat, just hovering above the mat. And then draw it back up again. So bend into the elbows as you draw the straps up or straps back. Lower the heel back down. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale. This is great for backache if you've been out into the garden. Exhale. Inhale, rising up. Exhale down. Inhale, rising up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale, rising up. Exhale down. Okay, so hug that knee in now. Okay, just release the strap. Just hug onto the knee and straighten out that right leg. So just allow yourself to hug that left knee in just now, just breathing away. So notice the back of the pelvis on the floor. You want to keep that pelvis on the floor as you slowly drop that left knee out to the side. If that right hip starts to lift off, just stop there. And then draw it back in. Allowing it to fall out to the side again. Inhale back to center. Exhale, allowing it to come out to the side. Exhale, center. Allowing it to fall out to the side. And back. Once more. Allowing that knee to fall out to the side. Just gently opening up into the hips. And back. Okay. So drop the arms down by the side and push that left heel up to the ceiling. Lower the leg down towards the floor and then draw the knee back into the chest. Keep the hands on the floor. Push the heel up towards the ceiling, lowering down towards the mat and draw the knee in. Pushing up towards the ceiling. Exhale the leg down. Draw the knee into the chest and push back up. Two more, lowering down and drawing the knee in. Pushing the heel up towards the ceiling, lowering the leg down and draw it back up. Okay, so take the strap around the ball of the foot again, extending the foot up towards the ceiling, flex into the foot, strap into the left hand, bend into that right knee this time. So keep the hips flat on the back, flat on the mat, and then start to drop that leg out to the left. Now the moment that right hip starts to rise, keep rooting it down. Just stop with the leg there and bring it back up. Okay, slowly taking the leg out to the side. So don't be cheating, you're just cheating yourself. That hip starts to rise, just stop with the leg there. All you're doing is rolling onto your side and draw the leg back up. And again, just allowing that leg to fall out to the side. Keep the back flat on the mat. Quite a lot going on here. And draw it back in. Once more, allowing the leg to fall out to the side. Keep the hips on the mat and draw the leg back. Okay, hug the knees in. Take a hand on each knee and then Start to take the knees out to the side and draw them back to centre. Open the knees and draw them back. So taking the knees round in a circle. Okay. Nice gentle hip openers here. And then we're going to come into happy baby. So keep the knees into the chest and bring the feet up towards the ceiling and take your first two fingers around the big toe and then just allow the feet to open. Okay, you can do a very gentle rock from side to side. Again, we're just allowing these hips to open. Breathing into the hips, breathing into that low back. And then bring the knees back in and plant the feet down. Okay. Extend into the legs and take the arms up overhead. Okay. Now, walk your feet over to the left side of the mat and also your hands. You're coming into a banana shape, okay, or a crescent. So you're opening through that right side of the body. So 3 deep breaths. And then release the hands, the feet back to center. Walk them over to the right side, okay? And the hands over to the right side. So you're coming into a crescent shape on the opposite side now. So you're opening down that left side of the body. A lovely side opener here. 3 deep breaths. Walking back to center. So walking the hands and the feet over to the left. 3 deep breaths. And back to center. And once more over to the right side. Walking the feet across, walking the hands across. Just being aware if you've got tight shoulders, what's going on with them. And then come back to center. Okay. So bend through the knees, open up the arms nice and wide. Bring the feet together to start with and drop the knees over to the left. We're going to get a nice spinal twist here. Keep the shoulders on the mat. Bring the knees back to center and drop them over to the right now. So without moving the hips, just rolling over onto the right hip. Bring the knees back to center. Now straighten out that left leg and draw that right knee in. Okay? And then take your left hand onto your right knee and roll that right knee over to the left side. Now you should feel the right side of the body opening up. Okay? You might find it hard to keep the shoulders on the floor. It's more important to keep the shoulders on the floor than that right knee coming to the floor. So we're working around the hips now, around the spine. Okay, come back to center. So bring that left knee in and then straighten out the right leg. Right hand on left knee and draw that left knee over. Try to keep the shoulders on the floor. Okay. Doesn't matter if the knee doesn't come right over. So you've rolled onto your right hip this time, but your shoulders are still on the mat. Also a deeper way to breathe into the chest. Okay. Come back to centre. Draw that right knee in and straighten that left leg. Now extend that right leg up overhead. And then you're going to draw that right leg over towards the left. Okay. Slightly deeper again. We're going to breathe a little bit longer here in this pose. And you'll start to notice what happens with the muscles. You'll start to soften and let go as you breathe. So you might feel it tight across your chest as you try to flatten these shoulders down. Okay, now we're going to draw that right leg back up to the ceiling again and draw the knee into the chest and just hug that knee. Okay. So I'm going to have to turn around to give myself space. So staying where you are, you're going to flatten out that right leg, drawing the left one in, and extend up to the ceiling. Okay, open up the arms, cactus arms, and then drop that right leg, that left leg towards the right side of the mat. If you feel you can't bring it all the way around, if your shoulders are starting to lift, that's okay. If you find it difficulty, you can bend that knee. Okay. So you'll feel this really opening up your side body. A lovely spinal twist. And then bringing the leg back up, hug that knee in. Okay, now you'll feel that stretch right round to your back as well. A great way to stretch round into the shoulders, the latissimus dorsi muscles, the hips. Okay, hug both knees in now. Just rock the hips from side to side. We're going to open up the front of the body a little bit more, coming into fish pose. So with bent knees, plant your feet down. If you do have your hair in a ponytail, you might need to release it. Okay, arms down by your side. Lift the hips up and take the hands underneath the hips. The hands or the wrists. Keep the arms nice and straight and allow the hips to come down. Okay, extend through the legs. And then start to point the toes towards the floor and draw your shoulder blades back. Push your elbows into the mat, and you want to create space in between the shoulders and the mat by drawing the crown of the head back, opening through the throat, opening through the chest. Make sure that the elbows are supporting you and the strain is not in the neck. So breathing nice and evenly, your ujjayi breathing. Keep the weight of your body into the elbows, drawing these shoulders back, opening up into the chest. One more breath here, and then just gently release the head down first. Bend the knees, lift the hips up, release the hands. Open up the arms, and then drop the knees over to the right. Okay. This is your counter pose for your back bend. Inhale, knees to center. Exhale, knees to the left. Inhale, knees to center. Now, I want you to shift your hips over to the left side of the mat and then drop the knees to the right. Slightly deeper spinal twist here. Take your gaze round to the left. A few deep breaths here. Bring the knees back to centre. Bring the hips to centre. And then bring the hips over to the right side of your mat. Just keep the feet in the middle. And then drop your knees over to the left. Your gaze comes over to the right. Nice open chest here. Nice deep spinal twist. It's a great one to do in the morning. It really opens up the body. Bring the knees back to centre and bring your hips back into the centre of the back. Now, reverse pigeon, take your ankle, your right ankle, and rest it on your left knee. Make sure the shoulders are flat on the back, flat on the back, flat on the mat, and then draw that left thigh in. Take your hands behind that left knee. So you're now getting a lovely stretch behind that right thigh. You can also extend that left leg up to the ceiling. You can push that right elbow into the right leg. Keep the shoulders down. Again, a lovely hip opener, but also working into the piriformis muscle here. You should be feeling that stretch in that right buttock. You might even want to have a gentle rock from side to side. Okay, and let's release it back down. Another twist here before we release the leg is crossing that right leg over the left knee, okay? And then dropping the knees to the left. Another spinal twist. Lots of spinal twists today. Great way to open up the body. Breathing into the chest. And then come back to centre and uncross the legs. So this time you're going to take left ankle, resting on right knee. And then drawing that right thigh in towards you, take the hands behind that right thigh. Try to keep your head down on the mat, shoulders down on the mat. Pressing that left elbow into that left knee or thigh. And you can also extend that right heel up towards the ceiling. A strap can be used around the back of the leg or your foot if you need a little bit of help. So don't be struggling in this pose. Breathe deeply into it. Remember that white light of energy we were using earlier. That energy is still there. Draw it from the earth through the body. Keep working with that energy. Allow it to sparkle through the body. You might even want a little rock of the hips from side to side. Okay. And just gently lower that right foot down. Cross the left leg over the right in a cross-leg position. And then drop the knees over to the right now. Just opening through that left side of the body. Try to keep the shoulders down if you can. Also opening through the front of the chest. Come back to centre. Hug the knees in. Cross the feet at the ankles. And let's just rock back and forward and then come up with the feet floating off the mat. Okay. So keep that core engaged as the feet are floating off the mat and then resting them down. Well done. Okay. So you can either stay in easy pose or bring the feet of the soles of the feet together. And what we're doing is just gently rocking the pelvis towards the heels. Lengthen through the spine and just allow these knees to open up. Your back should be feeling pretty good. Chest should be feeling pretty good here. Okay, so we're just going to, we've been working through rising up through the body. So let's just open up into the legs now. You can bring yourself back on your cushion if you wish for a little bit of support. Okay. So let's open up into the chest and then push the walls away. Pushing these walls away. Oh, I really feel that in my arms this morning. And release. Okay, roll through the shoulders. Pushing the walls away again. Push, 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 push. Oh, wonder if you're feeling this as much as I am. And release. Roll through the shoulders. Okay. Open up the arms again and sweeping that right arm under left, giving yourself a lovely big hug. Okay, elbows are stacking, hands are coming up, binding into the hands. And then inhale, raising the elbows up. So feel that stretch in the shoulders. Exhale, elbows lowering down. Inhale, elbows rising. Exhale, elbows lower down. Inhale, elbows rising up. And from here, take the hands out in front. Bring them back and lower down. Release the hands. Roll through the shoulders. Okay, open up into the arms again. Push against the walls. Push, 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 and release down. Roll through the shoulders. Okay, and again, pushing through these imaginary walls. Also keep pulling the toes back as well. So you're keeping stability in the body. And release down again. Roll through the shoulders. Okay. Open up the arms and sweeping left under right, giving yourself a lovely hug. Bring the elbows up, stacking the elbows, bringing the hands up and binding into the hands. Inhale, elbows rising. Exhale, elbows lower. Inhale, elbows rising up. Exhale, elbows lower. Inhale, elbows rising up. Taking hands out in front. Bring them back. Lower the elbows down. Release the hands. Okay, great stuff. Take a hold of your strap. And strap in the right hand. Take your hand up overhead and drop it down your back. Take that left hand out to the side and reach round for the strap, walking your hands up the strap. If you can bind into the hands, that's great. So that right elbow rooting up towards the ceiling, left elbow down towards the floor. Keep the feet active, so legs are open, pulling the toes back, spine nice and long, hips are supported. Smile and breathe. You can close the eyes here, Ujjayi breathing. One more breath. And release. Okay, hold of the strap, walking hands together, binding into the hands if you can, so rooting that left elbow up towards the ceiling, right elbow down towards the floor. Nice open chest. Close the eyes. Just feel what's happening with your body. Opening up into the chest, working deep into the shoulders. Remember to draw that energy up from the earth all the way up to the crown. Keeping the legs active, toes pulled back. And release. Just let go of the strap. Roll through the shoulders. Okay. Shake the arms out. Okay, now we're going to take the strap overhead. I'm going to open into the chest a wee bit. Let's take the strap out in front. Okay, holding on to the strap. And then raising it up overhead. So you want the arms open comfortably and then roll through the shoulders and see if you can bring that strap down a little bit away behind you and bring it back up overhead. Take a couple of breaths here. And then start to lower the strap down in line with the shoulders if you can. Keep the chest nice and open, spine nice and long, and bring the arms back up again. Lower back down behind the back. See if you can lower down a little bit more and all the way to the floor. Okay. Roll through the shoulders. I should be feeling really quite nice. So let's bring the strap to the front again. It's really good for releasing neck tension because we're working into the shoulders. A lot of neck tension starts with the shoulders. Okay. So bring the strap out in front. Okay. Raise it up overhead. Ujjayi breathing. And bring it back in front again. Bring it up overhead. Open up the arms a little bit away. And just lower down behind the head to start with. And come up overhead. Keep the feet active. Lower back down, shoulder height this time if you can. Drawing the shoulder blades together, opening up into the chest. And rise back up again. Start to lower down behind the back this time. Draw the shoulder blades together, keep the chest open, slowly, slowly lowering down. Okay, release the strap. Roll the shoulders. You should be feeling really quite delicious by now. Okay, drop the chin to chest. Just allow the back of the neck to lengthen. And then bring the head back up to neutral. Okay. So if you watch for a wee second, I'm going to draw my head to the middle of my chest and then sweep it over to the side. Okay. So let's drop the chin to the chest, sweep it over to the left side. So you're looking down that left arrow. Keep the spine nice and long. Roll it back to center and bring it up and roll through the shoulders. So we're going to do the same to the opposite side. Bring the chin to the chest and take the chin over to the right shoulder now, just looking down that right arm. Relaxing the shoulders. If you've had any headaches lately, this is really good for them. Slowly come back to center and bring the head back up to neutral. Roll through the shoulders again. Okay. Take the right ear to right shoulder and just place that right hand on top. to allow the weight of the hand to open through that left side of the neck. Breathe into the space that you're creating. You're not pulling your head down. You're just resting the weight of your hand on your head. Release the hand and bring the head back up. Roll through the shoulders again. We're going to do the same to the opposite side. Left ear to left shoulder. Just rest that right hand on top. Fingers can be resting on here. So breathe into this right side of the neck. Bring the head back up to neutral, roll through the shoulders, okay? Now, if we were in the class, I might be getting you to massage into each other's shoulders, but we're not there. So we're going to lift into this band of muscle that sits just at the top of the shoulder, up off the collarbone. So lift it up, and I want you to squeeze really tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Should be really quite nippy to squeeze. Squeeze it in, squeeze, 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 and release. Okay. Lift it up again, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Nice and nippy. Squeezing in, squeezing in, squeezing in, and release. Once more, lift it up, squeeze into that shoulder, squeeze, 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 and release. Okay. Now, just compare one shoulder to the next. The left shoulder should be feeling quite relaxed now, okay? So we're going to do the same to the opposite shoulder, lifting up that band of muscle, okay? Lift it up, squeeze it in tight. If you're feeling it quite nippy, it means you've got tension there. Squeeze it in tight. And release. Okay. Lift it up again. Squeeze it through your fingers, through the palm of the hand, lifting it up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It'll get less painful each time you lift it. And you can do this several times throughout the day. Not too often, you don't want to cause inflammation by overworking the muscle, and release. And again, lifting it up again, squeezing it in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Oh, feeling the release already. And let go. How does that feel? Should be really feeling quite nice. Okay, now you start with your legs quite active here. Okay, so we're going to do a little pivot work. Okay, and some side twistings, and then I'll take you into the relaxation. So lengthen through the spine, and you can take the hands onto the legs, or you can keep them in front of you, entirely your choice. So remember, pivoting from the hips, you don't want to bend into the spine here. It's a fold over we're doing. Okay, so take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, just start to pivot forward, keep the back nice and long, keep the head up. Just come to a halfway point, keep the feet nice and active, but pulling the toes back. Work with the breath here. You might feel that you're coming a little closer to the mat or the floor. You might want to support yourself with the elbows down. You even might want to support yourself with your block. So you still want to keep the head lined up, the neck lined up with the spine. Okay. Try not to curl through the back. You might even want to bring the chin into the hands. Just notice how the legs are. Working with that breath. And then slowly, slowly, walking the hands back up lengthening back up through the spine. Okay. So, taking that right hand on the right leg, inhale that left arm up. So we're opening into this left side of the chest and draw the shoulder back. So your right shoulder is lined up with the right leg. So taking the gaze upwards, just start to slide that right leg, that right arm down the right leg. And taking that left arm up overhead, not in front of the face, up overhead. So you're opening up into that left side of the body. A really lovely stretch that your body welcomes. Opening up into the intercostal muscles. Opening up into the lungs. Stretching into the back as well. Breathing nice and deeply here. And then you're going to soften that left arm. Just allow the arm to fall in front of you now. And you sweep yourself back into center. Okay. We're going to do the same to the opposite side. Left arm on left leg. Inhale that right arm up and drawing the shoulder back. Opening up into the right side of the chest, right side of the body. And exhale, side stretch over. Out the legs and coming round onto your back. Just settling down for relaxation. You can either come into a supported bridge pose here for your relaxation, or you can lengthen out the legs, just allowing the body to settle down into the support of the floor. Letting go. Just letting go. And using the breath in your body to bring yourself into relaxation. Sinking the body deeper and deeper into the support of your mat. Feeling the chest nice and open. Side body is lengthened. Hips are soft and free. No tension in the shoulders or the neck. Just allow yourself to sink down into the support of your mat a little bit deeper, just letting go. Draw the attention to the breath. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. So please stay here for a good 10 minutes, just allowing your body to benefit from your relaxation. Nurturing and nourishing yourself. Setting yourself up for the rest of the day. Wishing you love and light. Namaste.